Hello, everyone. Hope you have joined us this afternoon. We are here for our monthly meeting. We are waiting for, this is Anjali with the Cupertino Chamber of Commerce, and as we are waiting for our Senator Jim Beall to join us, but prior to that, our city manager, Deb Fang, is with us. Deb, are you good doing the update first while we wait for the senator to join us?
Sure, it can be short.
Oh, you can make it as long as you like.
I'll make it short.
Yeah. And you can start your video if you like.
How is everyone? It's odd to talk to people that you can't see still for me. A little bit of an update of what's going on. I think that with regard to COVID, we are unfortunately upticking like the rest of the communities in terms of cases. This week we're up to 79. If you'll recall, sometime in April, May timeframe, we were at about 21. Now 79 relative to our previous number looks bad, but relative to our general population, still pretty good. If folks have not noticed, we've had a couple of testing opportunities in the community. We had 3 days at Creekside Park in June. We had a pilot program for by appointment testing for the county in July. And then we just had our first of 2 August testing by appointment only. Now, the appointment process is a little more clunky, but it does make the at location experience a lot more smooth. So the wait time for tests now is down to like 10 minutes. So it's been going pretty well. We had 451 tests administered on Wednesday, the 5th at the senior center. And then we have another date in August, which I think is the 19th. And then there's 2 more dates in September. Those dates should be posted also in our COVID update in case anybody is interested in them, and they are announced. We're ready to, you know, if at any time we get some signals that it's okay to bring employees, city employees back to the workplace, we're ready to go. We have a good process. We have a good system. We've been checking temperatures for those of us that go in at least part-time. There's hardly anybody there, so we can appropriately distance. However, what we have done is we do a self-check-in. It matches up with our card entry to the building, whatever building we're in. And then in the back end, if there is an exposure, there's a system that captures all the information, so we're ready to do a tracing if we have to for exposed employees. And I know that our protocols are working because we've had a couple of near misses and the way we've been handling things. No other staff members have, you know, been exposed, and we don't have prolonged illness or anything like that. So we're pretty healthy. Everyone's doing okay. And we continue to provide city services. With regards to businesses, we hope that we've done everything we possibly can. We are entertaining a couple of different things that perhaps Angela has updated you on. Outdoor dining, of course, everybody knows about that. We tried to make that very streamlined. We've provided some small business grants in our program this last week. We have a renter's assistance program for those families that are affected. There's a couple ways you can get at those dollars. And with regard to businesses, we are looking at the possibility of the delivery charge cap charged to restaurants that Fremont just put in place. Currently, I guess delivery companies charge 30% back to the restaurant, and Fremont has capped it at 15. So we're kind of studying that and seeing how, what should we, and if Angela has not conferred with you, she will likely do so soon. The other one is expanding the outdoor dining to more outdoor businesses, mostly to try and accommodate personal care services. And that's kind of what we're up to with regards to city and chamber business together.
Well, thanks, Deb. If anyone in our attendees has a question, please raise your hand and we will turn it on so you can talk to Deb directly and ask her a question. So, yeah, it's been, we've heard from Angela about the grants, but we didn't know how many got awarded. And
I think there were, she'll correct me if I'm wrong, but I think there was approximately 30 or so. We had some CARES money that we put towards it, which was a good thing.
Oh, that's great.
Mm-hmm.
So I believe Senator Beall has joined us, and I'm hoping Debbie will stay on and
Yep,
listen
I'll
with
listen.
him. And I would like to introduce Senator Beall. You know, everybody knows he served our area for the Senate District 15 for a very long time. And not only that, but he served the region even longer. So if I can have Senator Beall turn his video on and audio on, then we can welcome him together, Deb. I'm just, you know, this is being virtual. It's kind of challenging to figure out how to do this. And so
I think
I
you
can,
might be able to actually turn on his video. Oh, there he is.
oh, there he is.
There he is.
I got it.
Hi,
Hi, everybody.
all for you. Good.
It's wonderful to see everybody today, and I hope you have a good Friday. I was just completing my Chamber of Commerce. This is Chamber of Commerce Day because I just finished speaking to Los Angeles Chamber of Commerce, actually. And we talked about affordable housing and transportation programs, and the impact on the state budget of the virus. And of course, everybody knows that essentially the impact on the income tax, sales tax, and all the revenue sources has been severe on the state budget. State budget, the majority of the money in the state budget, just so everybody knows, it goes to education, and that's K-12, and then community colleges and California State Universities and the University of California. So the majority of the tax dollars in the state budget go to education. We also have our Medi-Cal program, which provides healthcare for about 15 million people in California, and that's matched with the federal funds, $1 for a dollar. And we do another thing, we have a state prison system. And we give money to local governments for various county and state programs that they operate. So the state has kind of a complicated budget. What's happening is we have created to deal with this question, we have created a economic recovery task force. And I've been asked to serve on that in terms of the infrastructure issues and the housing issues, in terms of looking at how do we work on stimulating the economy, essentially, by encouraging more infrastructure, and in terms of, especially in terms of my bill, SB1. SB1 was passed in 2017. It financed $60 billion worth of road repairs at the state and local level. And we're now looking at expediting and encouraging an increase of funding using SB1 dollars to increase the amount of money spent on road repairs on the state highway system, for example. You can see some of the results of SB1 on the repairs they've done to 280, for example. They're completing the repaving of 280. That's the kind of projects we're talking about. I think that I would like to see more money spent on road repairs, because as the quicker we can repair them, the less it costs us in terms of long term. We also have money that goes to all the cities. The cities get some of that money for their road repairs. Cupertino, for example, gets over $3 million a year for road repairs. So the city of Cupertino has benefited, as well as all the other cities in the area. It also funds transit programs. Transit has a real problem now, and the ridership has dropped down tremendously. And we hope to see transit systems develop a plan for how to rebound. We don't need the people driving their cars, do we? We want them to, you know, if they can use a transit system to get to De Anza College or other places, we want to certainly hope that they use transit. But transit has to be safe, it has to be clean, it has to be on time, and we're encouraging those funding of more money for transit as well, so they can do that. Caltrain is recently, as today, there's been a measure put on the ballot in November for Caltrain, and that will be on the ballot in November. You should look at that one to make sure that we want to see Caltrain operated effectively. You know, we got federal and state funds to electrify Caltrain. We'll get rid of all the diesel engines. So in about 2 years, the complete system will be electrified. And that means no pollution, faster. It goes a lot faster when you electrify. It would increase speeds 15, 20% between San Francisco and San Jose. So it kind of makes a trip up to San Francisco or north a lot more feasible for a lot of people. And I know a lot of people from Cupertino drive to Sunnyvale and use the Caltrain station, get on the Caltrain and go up to San Francisco to work, or areas north. So we want to continue that development, and it's my opinion that that's going to be an important ballot measure on the ballot. I'd like to hear questions from the Cupertino chamber if they have any questions. We're going to, the budget that was approved kind of create a stable funding for education, which is the top priority, you know, not have the cuts. And they're now trying to figure out the distance learning protocols. Each school district has different rules. So we're talking to school districts about that issue quite a bit right now to find out what is safe for teachers, students, parents in terms of the virus situation. And in terms of healthcare, we're increasing funding for you know, more testing and other protocols to reduce the virus. And we're hoping the federal government will continue to provide funds for California and other states to attack the rise in the virus situation. So those are some of the issues we're dealing with. We got our plate full at the state government. I'd like to thank the Cupertino Chamber. This is probably, as a state senator, probably the last time you'll see me, because there's an election to replace me. And I thank the chamber for all their work and collaboration. And, you know, you have a wonderful team at the Cupertino Chamber. I enjoy working with everybody. And I wish we could be there together today to kind of say goodbye, but thank you very much. My term expires December 1st. You'll have a new senator, and my wife and I could take a long vacation and then figure out what we want to do. And she and I will figure it out. After 37 years of marriage, this will be the first year upcoming where I'm not elected to something after 37 years of marriage. And you can believe we have a long list of things we want to do now. Okay, so we're looking forward to having a little time together and more personal time after all that work that I've done in Sacramento, the 14 years in Sacramento, the 12 years in the County Board of Supervisors and 14 years on the San Jose City Council. So that's 40 years total. And she's been married to me for 37 years. So I just want to say on a personal note, I love you, my wife, Pat, and this is my joy that I have right now. So I have a lot of joy about leaving, okay? A lot of people think you're sad when you leave. Not me. I'm kind of happy. I'm looking forward to my new life after being elected official.
Well, we are so grateful that you served us for so long, for 4 decades. We are very, very thankful to have you be part of all the electorates that we have had serve the city of Cupertino. We do have a few questions for you. So the first one comes from Kitty. She's asking, what vision for transit does Senator Beall have for Stevens Creek Boulevard from De Anza College to Deodon and the airport?
Well, they have a pretty good bus system there, but it can be improved. You know how it can be improved? We can get more people to use the transit if we have maybe some signal preemption and maybe bus lanes for the individual buses. There's always a plan for a bus rapid transit line. In a lot of parts of the United States, they look at these high ridership corridors that have a potential for high ridership. And what they do is they create not a rail line, but a bus only transit lane. And they can create these lanes either at grade or above grade, actually, some cases. And I think if you did that and looked at a plan for that, there would be a good chance of increasing a lot of riders to use transit. Think if you can go through a lot of the intersections, like over, maybe a little over, it's like 30 feet wide, structure over Stevens Creek and Saratoga or Cupertino, Sunnyvale Road, De Anza Boulevard. Say if you had a little overpass there and then have the transit go over, something like that. These kinds of thoughts are very important to have as we develop. I think Highway 85 should be a transit corridor. It should go up. Now that we're going to electrify Caltrain, that's a lot of money. That's a big investment. Why don't we connect Cupertino better with Caltrain and some of the other projects? That'd be great if we can do that. So having a line that went up to the train station, either Mountain View and Sunnyvale or both, would be a wonderful thing for Cupertino. And a lot of Cupertinans can get on the line. And guess what? If we did that, it would take a lot of traffic off the roads, right? So that's good for the pollution, for congestion and so forth. So, and a lot of people really would like that. They would like to get to the train station now that we're going to electrify. And, from Sunnyvale, you might be able to get up to San Francisco in 30 minutes. Think about it. 30-minute ride up there. I'd take the train, right? It's pretty good. So if you can get to the train station in 10 or 15 minutes from Cupertino and then switch to the train and get up there in 30 minutes, that beats going up to San Francisco in a car, trying to find parking, all that kind of stuff, right? It's a different kind of lifestyle. I know my niece is doing that right now. She catches the train in Sunnyvale and has a job in San Francisco. So, and she says, well, the electrification, we're really looking forward to that. It's going to be new cars, speed, comfort. It's going to be very comfortable. We just need the connections to and from the train, and we can do that in many different ways. One would be a line. The other might be some kind of a jitney shuttle kind of thing, where they can go door to door from your house, pick you up and take you up to the train station. That would be a good option. So.
Thank you for that. Another question from Marianne, and she's saying, what are your plans post your term?
For after my term?
Yes.
You can call my wife and ask her. I think she has a lot of plans. But yes, we need a break. We're gonna take a break for after 40 years and then decide, what's next. I think I'm going to be involved in the community, of course. My wife and I are very involved in various parts of the community, doing things as a volunteer. That kind of would be fun. Some people say, well, you might have an opportunity for some other public position. Maybe we'll see. We don't know yet, but I'm certainly going to be involved in the community. I want to stay involved. My wife and I, we spend a lot of time on a couple things I'll just mention to everybody on a personal note. We want to really help people and families that have members of their family that have mental illness. And we have spent a lot of time in a group called NAMI, National Alliance for Mental Illness. And that's a group of family members who have family members that have mental health issues. And I'm kind of interested in helping high school kids that, they're so stressed out about grades and everything else and other life issues that they start having anxiety, depression, and it inhibits their abilities to be successful in their life. So I would like to work with, some excellent programs like El Camino Hospital has their youth drop-in program. If it serves the city of Cupertino, just for example, El Camino Hospital, they have a new mental health program there, and they have one for kids, young people. They don't like to call it mental health. They like to say, well, it's a activity center after school. They don't say mental health because the kids don't like the stigma. It's not good for them. But activity center where they get kind of a healthy living kind of help on how to cope, have some coping skills and maybe some counseling. That would be a wonderful thing that we could have if we had it all over the Silicon Valley, because we live in a pretty stressful environment. And think of how stressful this is for our children going back, and they've got this distance learning thing right now. And I think there's going to be a wave of anxiety and depression, not just for the kids, but for everybody. So I want to just, businesses will suffer if their employees have these problems. And the employees will not be as productive. They'll have more sick days off. They'll have family members that have problems, and they'll have to take more time off. It's an issue that's not talked about. The productivity of the economy, really, it's hit hard with mental health issues. There's been a lot of studies on that, folks. I mean, business people that have the stress will lose business because of their employees having mental health programs. We have a restaurant organization now that trains employees that work in a restaurant, and they put little stickers on their uniform so that if employees starting to have depression or problems, they can talk to that employee who is trained to be a peer support person. Some of the restaurants in Sacramento started that, and it's now gone national. So it's the restaurant hospitality industry has started that. These kind of programs are really good. I mean, if you have somebody you can talk to, we just got a grant for the County Office of Education. And I mentioned this to a bunch of students that interviewed me last week from Monte Vista High School, their leadership group. And we're going to have mental health. We got $6 million to put mental health counseling in the high schools and junior high schools all over Santa Clara County. So the kids will have counselors. And we need a system, though, for them, for helping them. And one of the things I know is if you have mental health and anxiety problems, you can't focus. The kids can't focus on their studies. They miss out, and their grades go down. And if they can have help, they can get back to normal where they can be productive, do their studies, do their homework, and be happy and successful in their lives, you know. So that's an area that I think business people should pay more attention to in general. I mean, I'll just say that. It has an effect on the economy really in a big way. There's been a lot of studies by business organizations outside California in other states that show it has a big effect on the economy. And that's why a lot of the business groups are very supportive of these mental health, you know, programs, especially for, you know, kids in high school and employees, you know, having good employee programs and all that kind of thing. So Kaiser does a good job, I'll say. Kaiser's starting, they had a problem, but they're getting really good at it. They're getting better and better and better. So you ought to give companies that do these kind of programs some kind of award, maybe. Say,
Definitely.
recognize them. Say, hey, this is a great program you guys have for your people and your business, you know.
Yes. We have another question from Lewis. He wants to know, in the midst of the worst economic downturn in the recent memory, are you supporting any tax increases on businesses or individuals?
I like the split roll tax increase. I'm not entirely enthusiastic about it. I don't have any other things that I support in that regard. I think that we could increase the spending on transportation funding, but not increasing taxes. We can do it with the existing funds, okay? And we can do it by securitizing some of our existing funds and selling like what we call revenue bonding. Right now, the short-term bonds are like 2% interest. It's a good market. It's you know, we just need to increase our infrastructure right now. I think that would be infrastructure has a multiplier effect on the economy when you have more infrastructure. It has a big multiplier effect because all the money's spent locally. It doesn't go to some other state, you know, it's local money. So it's a payroll-oriented job, you know, investment, you know, when you do road construction or, you know, because you're buying supplies, you know, concrete. There's a concrete plant near Cupertino, I noticed. So things like that, that would stimulate investment in the local economy.
Well, we have Connie who's going to ask a question live. So Connie, I'm going to allow you to talk and then you can ask your question live to the senator.
Oh, thank you so much. My name is Connie Cunningham, Senator Beall. I've lived here about 33 years and I have been on the Housing Commission for a couple of years. I want to thank you so much for your excellent service over the years, especially in education and mental health. Your work specifically on helping college students suffering housing insecurity has shown such wonderful, true leadership. And I wanted to say that to you this afternoon.
Thank you.
Thank you. I don't have a question.
I'll just say, you ever think about De Anza College maybe having some student housing there? That might be.
Oh.
San Jose State has worked a deal with the state government to tear down my downtown office where my office is, you know, downtown on 3rd Street in San Jose. They're going to tear that building down and they're going to build 3 high-rise student faculty housing because faculty need housing too, folks. And I don't know how De Anza College with their faculty, but we'd like to have them have opportunity for housing also. So maybe some faculty housing in some part of the campus, that might be something to look at. I don't know if they talked about it. San Jose Evergreen Community College District is now working on that issue right now to build housing for faculty and students. Faculty, it's hard to recruit faculty when the housing costs are so high, right? You got to get you want the A team in your community college there, or you want people that, the good ones go to other places when, you know, the good teachers, they go to other places when you can't recruit them. They'll go to some other place that the housing is available and not as expensive. So we have to have a way of keeping high quality educators at De Anza College. I'll just say that. That's something to think about as the chamber, you know, goes through their process. You know, De Anza College is a huge thing in Cupertino in terms of the economy, right? So,
Yeah.
so we want that education institution to thrive. I love it because my wife worked there for 18 years.
Oh, wow.
She did. She worked there. She loved working there with the students. And, you know, Judy Miner, she was her assistant, executive assistant to Judy Miner.
Oh, my.
So, you know, my wife and Judy are, you know, close. And I have a special feeling about De Anza College because I used to go down in there and pick her up and take her to lunch. And, you know, Pat loved working there at the college. So anything I can do to help the college, I'm all in. I love that place, and Foothill as well. So,
Well, thank you so much for that, Senator Beall. I appreciate that. I'm sure our city does too. Thank you.
Thank you, Connie. Oren wants to ask his question live. So Oren, go ahead.
hi, Oren.
Hey, so first of all, I want to also thank you for all your service.
Oops, that's Oren. I know who Oren is.
Oren, sorry, start again.
All right, there, better? Okay. I do want to, again, thank you for your service over the past years, Jim. You've been a great asset to the area and to Cupertino in particular. I do want to comment on the De Anza thing. I want to make two comments. One is, it sounds like you're not aware that in the plans, there are plans, as you know, or you may know, to demolish the Flint Center and rebuild something there. And part of those plans possibly could include some housing. That could be teacher housing. It is a critical issue, as you point out, and potentially some student housing as well. I'd also, if you haven't had a chance yet, want to get you connected with the new De Anza president that just started. We had him as a Rotary speaker the other day, and he's really, he's a great guy, and he's really interested in local stuff, you know, being plugged in to Cupertino and the surrounding area. So I encourage you to connect up with him, you know, before you leave office.
Yeah, thank you, Oren, and thank you for your service. This student faculty housing for campus is in the state legislature now, and there's been legislation that allows state housing programs to finance student and faculty housing now. It just came in this year. So we might have a new opportunity to help finance the construction of the faculty housing if the plannings come to fruition at De Anza.
Sounds great. Thanks.
So I think statewide, everybody's talking about this. All the community colleges, I think the community college chancellor has brought it up in the legislative hearings, and we know we have to do it. You know, let's face it. Some of the salaries that we're paying the faculty is not enough to own a home around here. You know, so they don't have the opportunities that they might have in other parts of the state where prices are lower. But we have to compete. You know, we have to have what we have to have is the highest quality teachers. So you got to think of how are we going to do that? Well, we have to have the housing for them. So, and their families, if they have a family.
So when Dr. Holmes talked the other day in his previous job, which is back in Rochester, they worked with the local community to raise $3 million for some student housing. And he admitted that doesn't go very far in the Bay Area.
You can get enough raised for down payment to start the projects, And then the state and federal government now, with our financing programs, we can create a financing mechanism, publicly financing the project. So that opens the doors for a lot of opportunities.
Thank you.
Thank you, Oren. Senator, we have another question from Marianne. What recommendations do you have for priorities to focus on for your successor?
Well, you know, the state budget is, you know, the most important thing, okay? And in the state budget, I think creating a stable state budget and keep funding as the top priority education, okay? And especially higher education. Education is what really drives the California economy. You know, you think of the impact of the UC system, you know, in our area, Stanford, Santa Clara, San Jose State, the UCSF in terms of medical, in that Southern California, UCLA, the universities we have, they really can drive long-term the economy, because this is an information age. We have an intellectual-based economy. We have an R&D economy. We want to stimulate that, and we have to keep supporting those institutions. And you know what competes against them in the budget? The California incarceration system. We're spending $91,000 per year on a prison inmate. And this year we'll spend even more. And so we need to have our focus on reducing the number of crimes and reducing public safety cost, because it's very expensive and it takes money from higher education. We need to have more slots for higher education. There's more kids that want to go to the UC and CSU systems when they graduate from high school, and they can't get in. That's obscene. Those kids qualify to get in according to the standards, and we can't accept our own local kids going to school. So we need to create larger UC system and CSU system, and support, of course, the community college system. So I've been preaching this. We have increased the number of slots at the UC and CSU over the last 10 years. It's the first time we've increased it in about 20 years. We're way behind still. So even though we have a budget problem, we can increase the system. It generates a lot of economic development when you support the universities. You get a very good ROI, return on investment, investing in the university and colleges. So I would say that's a top priority right there.
Well, thank you for that. A reminder to everyone attending, if you have any more questions for Senator Beall or our City Manager, Deb, please raise your hand right now, or put it in the question and answer and I can ask it for you. But this has been a great afternoon for us to have Senator Beall join us and answer so many of the questions. And for the City Manager to give us a live update of what's happening in the city of Cupertino. Once more, on behalf of the Chamber Board, I would like to thank you, Senator Beall, for your 40 years of service to the residents of the Valley. We are very grateful that you were here to serve us, and we really would love to have done this in person, but we would like to wish you the best as you retire out of the public service, but wish you good luck in all the volunteer. I'm sure we're going to still be seeing you.
Well, I almost worked for the city of Cupertino once, city manager. So I just want to let you know that. When I was in the 1970s, when I graduated from urban planning at San Jose State, I looked at that and I chose to work in Los Gatos and then Santa Cruz planning departments after I graduated from San Jose State. But I almost worked for the city of Cupertino. And
we have an opening.
Maybe I go, well, I don't know. My wife let me do that, but I I had a lot of friends in Cupertino at the time, and some of them have told me, hey, it's a great place to work. The city hall is great.
It is a great place to work.
Yeah, yeah.
It is a great place to
Still
work.
is, yeah.
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 I wanted to give you a little history while you're at the end is my father also worked in the Department of Social Sciences at De Anza he taught for 30 years.
Oh, really? You know,
Minor was there.
My wife, you know.
He probably knew your wife, and he actually worked with Judy as well.
Yeah, then they probably knew each other. I'll check in with her today and say.
Yeah, his name was James Fang.
Okay, yeah.
James.
I think he did know my. Yeah.
Yeah, he mentioned.
Yeah.
He always
I'll say
talked
that
about
to
a
her.
Pat. I just didn't know her last name.
That's my wife. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. That's funny.
Okay, great.
Small world we have here. So thank you everyone again. We are so glad to have you here today. And if you want to see what other events we have coming with the chamber, please visit our website, and we will see you soon at another one of our online virtual events. Bye-bye for now.
Thank you.